Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Scrubs, Season 10, Episode 5, My Angel. Yes, so, I also forgot that we also have the little robot kind of dude that, delivers shit. So, we've got that going on, as well as we've got the whole central plot of dealing with AI to a certain degree. I liked that they balanced it well enough that it wasn't overly fawning on AI, but also we gotta watch this shit because some freaky ass shit's kind of going on with this. Now, it didn't really go much into the medical side of it, it was more on the personal kind of side of it. And I'm like, Scrubs is good enough to kind of deal with it both kind of ways. So hopefully we get at some point where they just do a completely and utterly insane kind of thing where the AI mixed with fucking Turk's robot could go fucking haywire or something. I mean, shit, we had fucking one cracking out in a fucking restaurant that 3 fucking wait staff had to fucking wrestle it. So I could definitely see a funny ass thing where we somehow get some kind of Skynet send up where the fucking surgical one starts roaming the halls with fucking knife shit, and fucking Turk and the interns have to take the goddamn thing down. Oh, that would be good. That would be good. But we still got some good stuff in here. So it mainly was JD with the whole kind of dating stuff and the AI. We got a little bit more on the interns, which it's funny because the handsome one was kind of brought up as Bruce Wayne in this one, which I'm going to kind of refer to him as that because of what was kind of going on, which is very interesting because in certain kind of incarnations, Batman's father was a doctor. So I actually kind of like that kind of stuff kind of going on. So it's okay. So we got the interns, and the interns' stories kind of dovetailed as well into Elliot's in her hunt for a liver with her and Asher. So how do we want to tackle this? Let's say the JD one. Let's hit the liver kind of one, because we see this kind of older lady. She needs a new liver, and she's kind of getting disappointed because she's oh, you'll get it, you get it, and then she doesn't get it, and then oh, you'll get it, she doesn't get it, and she's kind of in that just I've kind of given up all my fucks to give at this point, while Elliot is trying her damnedest to not be in Cox mode of fuck the world kind of shit, but trying to be as positive as possible, and Asher's trying to back her up, but it is interesting because we are getting some nice interplay. He's attempting to be the best that he can with it, but sometimes being oh, okay, going a little bit over and kind of undermining her stuff a little bit, and she's and she does not like that. So it's kind of cool to see that kind of going on. And at first they get some information that's oh, okay, we did get a liver for you, however it didn't really work out. And they're okay, what are we going to kind of do? And it's, let me see. Yeah. They're trying to figure out any kind of way she gets in, hooked up with kind of JD to kind of see what's kind of going on. She then gets hooked up with Turk, and Turk's all right, I got this. Let me go for it. And they're able to find one. It's not the kind of best match, dude had hepatitis C and all that kind of stuff, but it fits with what would kind of work with their patient's biology. And it's alright, they present it to her, and she's alright, fine, fuck it. At first she's nah, I'm tired, I'm done with this kind of shit. And they're able to kind of convince her, and she's alright, I'm going to Asher asking her what she would do after she got her new liver, and she's adopt a puppy, adopt a dog kind of shit. It's okay, let's see how that kind of works out for you. Well, hopefully they kind of check back in. I mean, they've got less kind of episodes here. We also have Park being brought back in, kind of working within the realm of the intern kind of one, because we see who is it? It's nope. Blake's the one. Park pretty much gets into the kind of hospital kind of rules, and I kind of like his character. I like that he's kind of a foil that's kind of gunning for JD's job, but also that kind of dude that can be kind of a friend, but will kind of fuck with you a little bit, because we see that with his relationship with Turk. They actually were in a bowling league together. It's fine, alright, after I get the job, we're getting back into the bowling league kind of shit. As Turk's come on, why the fuck are you on JD's ass? He got it, you didn't. Moving on. But we see that Blake sits down in one of the nurse's chairs, and this, of course, sets off the whole kind of oh shit. The nurses are like, you better walk that urine down to that yourself. And there's like, walk off. It's like, shit. And Park's like, ooh, you're gonna have to make up some shit on them. Like, okay, how about like pizzas or whatnot? And Amar kind of took his side a little bit. Just be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Well, not really took his side, but like spoke up a little bit, which was kind of the worst kind of scenario because she then got left in with him. So they went out to pretty much get pizzas. I'm like, all right, cool. Pepperoni, bitch, kind of shit. And then they kind of go out, but Blake is able to kind of see that somebody's going to try and mug them. And says to just watch out and let them take the purse. They book off, but then they get smacked in the head by someone opening a truck door. So they take him in. They lost the pizzas and stuff like that. And they're like, where the fuck's the pizzas? And it's like, this dude mugged us and probably has a concussion. And we see that they're trying to figure out what's kind of going on with the nurses' rules. And it's like, well, it's because they do all this kind of stuff that's even above and beyond what their job is. So it's to make sure that you don't like fuck around with them, and they are a pivotal, important part of the hospital. And I'm glad that even though that we don't have Carla as the head one there, the nursing staff still has its own kind of flavor and personality as it's kind of going on, and like, okay, don't want to do that, and they kind of understand it. We also see that Blake goes to the mugger and gives him some information that these people will help you get on your feet and stuff like that because he's understood that kind of stuff. Asher, of course, is holding off on confessing his feelings to Amar because he thinks that Amar is having feelings for Blake, even though Blake has been doing his best because she like commented on his clogs and he was like going a little bit too in depth, and Blake even wingmaned for him, knocked into his ass with like a patient that he was wheelchairing and be like, oh, okay, she doesn't want to hear about the shoes. Continue. Save that shit. Like, he is not trying to get in the way of this kind of thing. He's not really interested in Amar, so we kind of have this kind of weird love triangle that's probably being set up. So we'll have to see how it works out. As long as it's not done tropey or anything like that, I have no problems with, oh, okay, Amar's more interested in him, Asher's kind of in the back end, and the thing is, love took a central kind of focus on here as we were kind of going on. Let's see. That... Elliot's also dovetailed as well into the love bit, as she was pretty much like, oh, okay, the dude who flew in the new liver for the patient was like this hot kind of pilot. She's like, oh, okay, because that's where JD kind of comes in and sees like sometimes you just need time, as he was pretty much utilizing an AI chatbot first in consulting with the patient because he had seen, trying to probably see what kind of medications would probably fuck with this one patient, and it's like, man, how you guys keep all that information in your head, as the AI starts like blasting off at him, is like, this show's got it. Like, I guess that one was an aberration for that other season because they tried to copy and paste the legacy characters while still keeping the legacy characters. It's like, don't do that. That is where I think this new season has found its footing, because they didn't just copy and paste the interns. We've got a little bit of a different kind of mix here with these interns. We'll see what kind of goes on. Now Blake can pretty much be read as Dr. Cox 2.0, but he doesn't completely do everything that Cox did. Like the previous attempt they tried to do. They tried to pretty much graft that. They tried to graft JD onto the other... I don't even remember her name. And do that stick. Let them be themselves. And that's why I like what we're kind of getting on with here. So... we then also see that JD has been using it to almost date it, and Turk's like, you need to get out on the field, man. Even talking with the tech dude that we'd been introduced to, that he's pretty much dating his chatbot and had named it and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, get me on that kind of stuff. And then, of course, we get Tosh brought in of like, yeah, the apps, it's like, we could do your shit, and you'll probably get a lot of seniors. It's like, how old do you think I am? Sick? Oh, she said sick. And the thing is, Carla was talking about it and said that we'll do this, but Turk swipes. And I'm just like, the little character things of like, okay, even though Carla's not there, it completely is like, yeah, Carla's like, okay, let Turk swipe on this shit. We do not trust Bambi on this shit. We do not trust Bambi on this shit. And they had for good reason, because we see that he gets feelings for this harp player that he sees. He's like, oh, okay. He tries this game out, but thankfully she doesn't hear the first time. It's like, oh shit. And they have a nice little kind of banter kind of going on before a patient kind of pops up and is like, hey, am I dead? Am I in heaven? Is my wife here kind of shit? And it's like, oh shit. And then one of the nurses comes along, all right. It's like, let me go handle that. Because he's not wearing any underwear either, so, hello. So we then get the tension of him being like, okay, I'm the chief of medicine. Should I attempt to date here? Turk at first is like, no, just get on the apps. Workplace stuff, Park will use it to take your ass out and get the job. And he then almost gets run over by her heart. And is like, you know what, fuck it. And goes out for a drink with her. As we also see the tech dude going off and getting nagged by his chatbot, showing that at a certain point, it will become the same shit. You might be like, I don't want to be nagged by a person. It's like, that's probably because you're doing habits that would lead someone to nagging you because you're doing stupid shit. Like being late for what your reservation is. So he's pretty much talking to her and all that kind of stuff. She's like, yeah, we're going to do this drink and then we're going to fuck. And like have sex and shit like that. And Turk at first is kind of warning him off. But then he gets talking to Parker's like, you bang everybody in this hospital. And above. But the thing is, this isn't important to me because she's a volunteer. And then Turk immediately calls him. He's like, volunteer, go. Even high-fiving a motherfucker as he's going down. And one of the other hilarious things was that JD's like, I don't know, man. Maybe that just gets to a certain kind of point you don't have, that sex isn't really that important. And then Turk just, the slap that he delivers is just, it just shows the chemistry between these two actors and how they know these characters so well that slap is like shit. We also get that the HR lady, Sibby, is talking with Elliot and kind of having the same kind of things like, yeah, maybe sex not that important right here. It's like, sex is important, but like frequency and everything like that is up to you. If you're horny, go for it. But make sure that you have clear boundaries and rules. Do not stick your dick in crazy, and do not let crazy stick in you, as JD pretty much was going on here. Because sometimes it's just like, I don't want to deal with that bag of fuck. And JD pretty much learns that with this harp lady. Because they drink and everything, and then she's talking about like crypto and shit like that. It's like, oh my god, she's like a dude, bro. And then she's kind of going like really ham on Jesus. Shut up, bitch, like, holy. And of course, he then starts remembering, because there's a pizza box on the bed, remembering him and Elliot together. He's like, you know what, I'm all right here. This is going too fast. This isn't my kind of deal. And she's like, I bought you a drink. And it's like, oh, shit, that's like the typical thing that you hear dudes say. And it's like, yeah, it goes to show that any motherfucker can do that kind of shit. And he's like, I'll Venmo you. And then calls Turk, and Turk's just like, and like, if you had seen who gives a shit if they are considered hot or attractive, whatever. They start going kind of nutty there and like spouting about their crypto and weird shit. And it's like, you're not comfortable? You have every right to be like, deuces, and buck the fuck out. And I applaud JD for doing that, because he didn't do it in a stupid kind of way and an immature kind of way where he would attempt to probably escape through a bathroom window. He's just like, you know what? Thanks. No thanks. I'm out. And then seeing him think about that as well, while seeing Elliot kind of getting back out there, where he's like, you know what, I'm just kind of taking my time and seeing where I'm at and what I'm doing, before then having the end of the episode with him and Turk in kind of like snuggy kind of things, watching under the Tuscan sun. And Turk is pretty much almost asleep, and JD then starts putting his head on his shoulder, and he's like, nope. It's like, okay. And the thing is, he's like, don't tell Carl I'm watching this movie. She's been trying to get me to watch it for fucking ever. And it's just like, yes, this is your relationship, my guys. But the thing is, I do like seeing the ups and downs of their relationship. Of like Turk in the beginning of the season calling out like, you weren't around here for me to hang out with, to me to vent, to have our kind of friendship as we kind of had it before. And I like them kind of exploring that, and you do need those kind of support systems. And even though they've had those rough patches, they're able to get back up and do some crazy stuff, even though Turk is pissed off at JD for essentially having his, what Turk thought as a great shot, but it's like, hey man, you don't want to deal with that, because if that's how they're kind of working, I mean, worst case scenario, you get stuck and you have to kind of escape a place. Another kind of worst case scenarios, you get hurt, you get injured, you get an STD or something, or you get that person pregnant or whatnot, and it's like, okay, then you gotta really deal with that motherfucker forever. So, I do like how it kind of escalated. That's the main kind of thing with this. It escalates to a kind of, oh shit, but still kind of believable, where sometimes others, they just escalate and escalate and escalate, and it just either goes nowhere, it's like, just a fart in like a thunderstorm, or it goes to such a degree that you're like, we're jumping the shark here, guys. That's like what we do in the shadows, which sometimes just escalates to perfect kind of peaks, and then deliver on that shit. That's what I've got here again. Like, even though I'd watched and seen this before What We Do in the Shadows, it really reminds me, and it's nice to have something where it just comes on. It's like, you know what? Let's see what we get into today. And it just hits for me. And I'm like, yeah. And if it doesn't hit for you, I understand that. I get that. Like, you like the peak scrubs that was going on, and you don't want to deal with that the cast is older or whatnot. That's all right. That's fine. I get that, where you are done with the thing and you move on. But I'm having fun with this so far. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.